Welcome back to AI Brief. We're on episode 85 and diving deep into a whole bunch of new stuff in AI.
Yeah, it looks like we got a ton to cover today. Nvidia, Adobe, Anthropic, even some updates from Gemini and LG. Lots to unpack.
Definitely a lot happening out there right now in the AI world. So let's get right to it, starting with Nvidia and their big GTC 2025 keynote.
Okay, so Jensen Huang, he basically called this AI's Super Bowl. And honestly, with what they announced, it kind of feels that way. Their new GPU roadmap, it's super aggressive.
Right, Blackwell Ultra at the end of 2025, Vera Rubin in 2026, and then Feynman already on deck for 2028. What's with this need for speed?
Well, as Huang pointed out, the computing power that AI needs is growing way faster than anyone expected. Like maybe even 100 times more in just a year.
Wow, that's incredible. And it's not just for better graphics or anything, right? It's for these massive AI models they're building. They need crazy processing power to actually work.
Exactly. It's like if you're building a bigger house, you're going to need a bigger foundation. And then on top of that, they're pushing hard into robotics with Isaac GR00T N1, their first open foundation model for humanoid robots.
I saw that. It's like a pre-trained brain for robots, giving them a starting point for movement and interaction. And they're releasing this huge physical AI dataset to train these robots.
Yeah, really interesting stuff. It could change how quickly we see these robots getting more, I don't know, human-like and how they move and react.
And you have to think about how NVIDIA is giving more people access to all this power with DGX Spark and DGX Station. It's basically data center level computing in a workstation.
So anyone working in AI, researchers, developers, they can have this incredible power right at their fingertips. No more waiting around for processing time.
And then there's that Newton Robotics physics engine they developed with Google DeepMind and Disney. They showed it off with that blue robot, remember?
Yeah, like something out of Star Wars. Really cool. But beyond that, it means they're making simulations more realistic, which is how they train robots before they're even built.
And you can't forget their partnership with GM for self-driving cars. It shows just how wide-reaching NVIDIA's influence is becoming in AI.
Right. From the chips themselves to the software to robots and even cars, they're everywhere.
Yeah.
The speed at which AI is advancing, I don't think we've seen anything like it.
No kidding. Okay, let's move on to what Adobe's been up to.
Okay.
It's got this whole army of AI agents thing going on now.
Yeah, so they announced their Experience Platform Agent Orchestrator and a bunch of specialized AI agents, 10 in total, designed for all sorts of tasks within a business.
And these aren't just basic chatbots, right? These are agents that can handle pretty complex stuff like audience targeting, content creation, website performance, and B2B account management.
It's basically automating some of the trickiest parts of running a business. You can see how that could be really appealing, especially for larger companies.
I was really intrigued by their Brand Concierge feature. It's all about building those personalized chat experiences that everyone's talking about these days.
Right, because apparently Adobe's seen a huge jump in traffic to retail sites coming from AI platforms, so personalizing those interactions is becoming more and more crucial.
Makes sense. And their decision to integrate Adobe Marketing Agent with Microsoft 365 Copilot is pretty savvy too, putting their AI capabilities right into the tools that people use every day.
Yeah, smart move for sure. And they're not stopping there. They've got partnerships with AWS, Microsoft, SAP, and ServiceNow, so these AI agents can work across different systems.
That's key. It means these agents aren't stuck in one platform. They can actually coordinate tasks across all your software, which is pretty powerful stuff for a business.
And speaking of powerful, let's talk about what Anthropic's been working on, specifically with Claude and these voice features they're testing.
They're really leaning into that conversational style of AI, and it seems like they're targeting business users, people who need to get stuff done quickly.
I mean, think about it. How much time do people spend in meetings or dealing with office software? Anthropic's trying to make those tasks faster and easier.
Right. That feature, where it analyzes your calendar and makes client reports using data from both inside and outside your company, that's pretty impressive.
Yeah, if you're constantly in meetings, that's a huge time saver. And it seems like they're serious about voice integration. They already have prototypes, so it's not just a concept.
And to get those voice features out there faster, they're looking to partner up with Amazon and 11 Labs, who are the experts in voice tech.
Smart move, especially since there's so much competition in the AI market right now. Offering those premium features could really set them apart.
All right, next up, Gemini. Google's multimodal AI just got some cool updates like that audio overviews feature they borrowed from Notebook LM.
Yeah, I actually tried that out. You can basically have it generate a podcast summarizing all your research. Pretty amazing for anyone who has to read through tons of stuff.
And then there's their new Canvas tool, which seems like it's all about brainstorming and collaborating. especially for coding projects. You can even upload documents and have Gemini draft a website based on the content.
That's wild. Imagine how much time that could save. And then there's LG, who's quietly making some serious moves in AI with their new large language model X0132B.
I was impressed that it beat DeepSeek's R1 in a math benchmark, and it's actually smaller than R1. That's pretty impressive for a company not traditionally known for their AI.
Yeah, and even their smaller models, Exelon 7.8B and 2.4B, those topped the leaderboards for lightweight models in coding, reasoning, and science. Shows you don't always need the biggest model to get great results.
Okay, stepping back for a second, let's look at the wider AI landscape. Meta's Llama open source model, it's been downloaded over 1 billion times.
That's crazy. It really shows you how open source AI is taking off. People are hungry for access to these powerful tools. And speaking of people, did you hear about Liam Fetus leaving OpenAI?
Yeah, he was their VP of research, and he's starting an AI materials science company. OpenAI is even an investor. That's a pretty interesting crossover.
AI and materials science, that could lead to some major breakthroughs. And Google's got their own thing going on with TextGemma, a new set of Gemma-based AI models for drug discovery.
More AI for good, hopefully. And Jensen Huang just released a bunch of new 3D generation models and open source tools for text to graphics and creating 3D objects.
Making it easier for people to get into those areas. And then there's Stability AI. They launched Stable Virtual Camera. It can take a single image and turn it into a 3D video with a moving camera.
I saw that. Pretty mind-blowing stuff. Imagine turning any photo into a mini-movie. In Graphite, that AI code review tool backed by Anthropic, he launched their Diamond product and got a big $52 million in Series B funding.
Clearly, investors are still very excited about AI development tools. Oh, and there are rumors that Anthropic might be working on two-way conversational features for Claude, maybe partnering with 11 Labs again.
Interesting. And speaking of funding, Grub Market, they use AI for food distribution, just raised $50 million in a Series G round. And Cognition, the company behind that Devon AI coding assistant, might be getting a huge funding round that values them close to $4 billion.
Wow, that's a lot of money going into AI coding tools. Investors must really believe in their potential. Speaking of potential, there are a ton of new AI tools popping up every day. Like, did you see Roblox's new Cube 3D tool?
No, what's that?
It's open source and lets you make 3D objects from text. Pretty cool. And Zoom's got their AI companion, which basically gives you an AI assistant in your meetings to help with notes and stuff.
Useful. Anything else I should check out?
Oh yeah, tons. Mistral Small 3.1, a fast open source model with a huge context window. Recam Master for editing camera angles and videos. Screen App to record your screen and get insights from it. And even Scribe to help you grow your LinkedIn following.
Wow, that's a lot. And what was that one for making videos?
Apollo AI. They're all about creating high-resolution creative videos. And then there's Tray. It's an AI-powered IDE for speeding up software development. And Ideogram, if you want to make images with realistic text embedded in them.
It's amazing how many new tools there are. And that was just a quick look at what's happening in AI right now. I hope this deep dive was helpful for everyone.
Yeah, it's a lot to keep track of, but it's an exciting time for sure.
Definitely. And to stay on top of everything, be sure to follow and share AI Brief. We'll keep you up to date.
Until next time.
See you all then.